Imagine living in a community where, like, you can face intense social ostracization just for drinking a cup of coffee.
Right.
But then you can simultaneously make $50,000 a month posting this highly produced, heavily monetized TikTok video about your own husband's cheating scandal.
It is honestly one of the most fascinating modern paradoxes we have right now. I mean, you are looking at a cultural framework built entirely on privacy, submission, and traditional family units.
Yeah.
And it is just completely colliding with a digital algorithm that explicitly rewards oversharing, intense conflict, and constant public validation.
And today, we are taking you on a deep dive right into the epicenter of that collision.
We really are.
We have a massive stack of sources to get through to understand this. We're looking at real-time entertainment reporting from TMZ and Us Weekly. There's also this incredibly sharp cultural critique published in Marie Claire.
That one is so good.
It really is.
Yeah.
And finally, a comprehensive academic-style analysis of what researchers are calling the March 2026 MomTok fragmentation. So our mission today is to unpack the reality TV phenomenon, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, or CEL OMW, to understand exactly how a digital subculture commodifies its own private crises.
Yeah, and why that entire system is currently collapsing in real time.
Exactly.
So, to understand the collapse, we first need to establish the foundation. Because, for those who might not spend their days scrolling through Utah influencer lore.
Which is a lot of people.
Right, thankfully. But this entire phenomenon started back in 2022.
Okay.
A highly followed Utah-based influencer named Taylor Frankie Paul blew up the internet by exposing what she called a soft-swinging scandal among her conservative Mormon influencer friend group.
Wow.
Yeah, and that revelation was so explosive it actually spawned a Hulu reality series. But now, 4 years later, in March of 2026, that entire group is facing a catastrophic systemic breakdown.
Wait, before we go further, just to make sure we're all on the same page regarding the underlying culture here, what exactly are the rules of soft swinging, and how does that fit into the broader religious context these women are operating in?
That is a really crucial baseline to establish. The women in this group are members, or at least culturally adjacent to, the LDS Church, the Latter-day Saints.
Right.
And it is a high-demand religion. It places a massive foundational emphasis on traditional family structures, strict behavioral codes, and modesty.
So it's very strict.
Extremely. So soft swinging, as Taylor described it, was essentially a negotiated form of non-monogamy.
Okay.
Unlike traditional swinging, which usually involves full partner swapping, soft swinging implies boundaries. So perhaps kissing or touching, but stopping short of full intercourse.
Oh, I see.
It was basically an attempt by these couples to bend the incredibly strict rules of their culture to experience transgression without technically breaking the ultimate marital covenants of their faith.
So they were looking for a loophole.
Exactly, a
Yeah.
sanctioned loophole.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because looking at the timeline of what cast member Michaela Matthews recently dubbed the week from hell, it seems like all those carefully negotiated boundaries just completely evaporated.
Oh, they were obliterated.
Right. So how fast did this recent March 2026 collapse actually unravel?
Staggeringly fast. I mean, the velocity of the events is what makes this a textbook case of an algorithmic crisis.
Okay, walk us through it.
So on March 20th, 2026, Jessi Draper's husband, Jordan Gatakara, officially files for divorce.
Which is big news on its own.
It is, but he does not just file for divorce, he also requests a temporary restraining order against her.
Wow. And Jessi claims she was completely blindsided by this, right? Because they had allegedly agreed to tell their kids together.
Yes, that was her claim.
So how does she retaliate? She goes straight on the Call Her Gaddy podcast. And she alleges that Jordan used escorts and attended sex parties during their marriage. I mean, going on a famously secular, sex-positive podcast to air out your husband's alleged attendance at sex parties. That is a highly targeted strategic strike.
It is a brilliant PR move, honestly. It immediately reframes the narrative of the divorce.
How?
Well, by choosing Call Her Daddy, she is utilizing a massive media platform to assert control over her public image.
Right, taking back the power.
Exactly. She transitions her public persona from, a woman facing a restraining order to a liberated party exposing an abusive, hypocritical situation.
Yeah.
It is crisis PR executed via podcasting.
But the strategy takes a really wild turn mere days later.
It really does.
According to sources from Us Weekly and Doomoy, Jessi goes to a party shortly after dropping that podcast episode, and she is caught getting cozy, and kissing a guy named Chase McWhorter.
Yes.
And Chase is not just some random guy at a party. He is the ex-husband of her MomTok co-star, Miranda Hope.
Right, and furthermore, Chase was one of the central figures in that original 2022 soft swinging scandal we just discussed.
Oh, wow. So he's been around.
Very much so. He is deeply embedded in the lore of this specific friend group.
And the fallout from this kiss is instantaneous.
Yeah.
I mean, Chase's own sister, Aisha, posts a TikTok publicly questioning why these women are, quote, all in line for him.
Yeah, that was wild.
She literally asks, what are they feeding you? Utah can't be this small.
Which is a valid question.
It really is. And then Layla Taylor, another castmate who previously dated Chase, publicly tells him to shut your mouth after he posts an Instagram video joking about how he must have magic to cause all this drama.
The ego on display is just incredible.
It really is. I mean, the whole thing reminds me of the later seasons of the sitcom Friends, where everyone inexplicably dates each other.
Yes.
But here, the stakes are real marriages and religious reputations. It feels like a closed corporate ecosystem, or almost like a non-compete clause, where you are only allowed to jump to rival companies within the exact same industry. Why are they all orbiting the exact same people?
That corporate non-compete analogy is actually the perfect way to look at it, because this incestuous dating pool is a direct byproduct of cultural insularity.
Okay, say more about that.
Yeah. Think about the Venn diagram of what these women need in a partner.
Right.
They exist in a highly specific niche. They require someone who intuitively understands the strict rules, guilt, and expectations of the LDS faith.
Which is already a small group.
Exactly. But then that person also has to be willing to tolerate and actually participate in the bizarre, hyper-visible, financially driven pressures of the influencer lifestyle.
That intersection has to be a remarkably small pool of people.
It sharply limits their options. And as Miranda Hope herself described it, this dynamic creates a waiting room effect.
A waiting room effect.
Yeah, because the pool of acceptable partners who meet both the religious and reality TV criteria is so small, ex-husbands and former boyfriends just endlessly orbit the friend group.
Wow.
They're just waiting for the next relationship to begin. The ecosystem cannot sustain outside elements, so it just recycles the people already inside it.
Which perfectly explains the actual choreography of this public feud.
Oh, absolutely.
Because the kiss itself, the betrayal, happened at a private party. But the way these women processed it reveals the fundamental mechanics of the MomTok business model.
Right.
They are taking raw, personal pain and engineering it into heavily choreographed public content.
This is the exact moment where the personal life is entirely subsumed by the digital economy.
Okay, so let's look at how this plays out. After the kiss happens and the rumors start swirling, Jessi sends Miranda apology flowers with a note saying she understands if Miranda is upset.
Right, a somewhat normal response.
Yeah, and Miranda could have just thrown the flowers in the trash, right?
Yeah.
Or texted her back.
Sure.
Instead, she takes a photo of the bouquet, posts it to her Instagram stories, and writes, received the prettiest flowers just minutes ago, but she has a passive-aggressive upside-down smiley face.
And we have to look at the mechanics of why she did that.
Yeah, why not just handle it privately?
Because by posting those flowers with that specific emoji, she isn't just being petty, she is deliberately creating an open loop for the algorithm.
An open loop.
Yeah, an open loop is a storytelling device that creates a gap in information.
Okay.
Her followers see the flowers, they see the sarcastic emoji, and they immediately know a conflict is happening, but they don't have the full context yet.
Oh, wow. So it hooks them.
Exactly. This forces her audience to constantly refresh her page, waiting for the next update. And that exponentially drives up her engagement metrics.
That is wild.
It is a monetization strategy disguised as a personal reaction.
And she closes that loop by escalating the feud on TikTok. She posts a Get Ready With Me video where she is, calmly doing her makeup set, the Keisha song Backstabber.
Classic.
And her caption is just brutal. She writes, processing my friend group, being a waiting room for my ex-husband, and then adds, it's not even a betrayal at this point, it's a tradition.
Yeah.
I mean, it is brilliant because she's using the soft, relatable aesthetic of a makeup tutorial to deliver a localized nuclear strike on her friend group.
And specifically referencing the fact that Chase had also previously dated Lila, she is weaponizing the group's history to solidify her position as the wronged party.
Meanwhile, as this is all blowing up, another castmate, Whitney Leavitt, just exits the MomTok group chat entirely.
She just bails.
She bails. She goes on a podcast and claims the friendships in the group are completely fake and driven purely by competition and jealousy. She says she's focusing on her family because the environment is too toxic.
Yeah.
But wait, I am genuinely stuck on something here.
What's that?
They are crying about girl code and betrayal, but they are literally legally contracted by Hulu to generate drama for a television show.
Right.
Are they actually feeling the pain, or are they just producing the pain? Is any of this real, or are we just watching a very profitable community theater project where everyone knows their marks?
That is the million-dollar question. And the tension between reality and performance is exactly what the academic analysis in our sources focuses on.
Oh, okay.
They use this concept called the digital panopticon.
The digital panopticon.
Right.
Break that down for us.
So in a traditional panopticon, which is an old prison design, the inmates behave as if they are always being watched, because the guard tower is always visible, even if they can't see the actual guard inside.
Right, so they police their own behavior.
Exactly. For the MomTok women, the digital panopticon means they are always being watched by millions of followers.
Wow.
Every private interaction, like receiving a bouquet of flowers, is immediately consumed, analyzed, and judged.
So the emotional pain of the betrayal might be entirely real, but the expression of that pain is pure business.
Precisely. In a panopticon, you cannot afford to react privately.
Because if you don't post it, it didn't happen.
Or worse, someone else posts it first and controls the narrative. The real currency of MomTok isn't genuine friendship. It's the ability to control the narrative.
Yeah.
Miranda isn't just reacting to a friend kissing her ex. She is directing a scene where she is the protagonist.
Right.
She is ensuring that her audience sides with her before Jessi can spin the story. In a contracted friend group, loyalty is always secondary to engagement metrics.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though.
Okay.
Because while the women are busy cannibalizing their own friendships for views, creating these algorithmic open loops, there is a massive vacuum being created. And someone else is quietly stepping in to monetize the fallout.
Oh, yeah.
The Marie Claire piece in our sources points this out brilliantly. The husbands are taking over the camera.
The rise of dad talk.
Yes.
This represents a fundamental shift in the show's underlying premise.
Let's look at how the show started, right?
Yeah.
It originally captivated audiences because it presented this incredible subversion. You had these women who were raised in a culture that explicitly expects them to be submissive, traditional homemakers, but they weaponized the influencer economy to gain massive financial autonomy and effectively rebel against that restrictive system.
Right. They became the primary breadwinners.
Exactly.
They found a highly lucrative loophole in the patriarchy and built an empire inside it.
But then season 4 happens, and suddenly the narrative focus shifts to the husbands. Men like Jordan Nagatakara and Zach Affleck.
Yeah.
And what are they doing with this screen time? They are directly monetizing their wives' fame.
It's wild.
They are selling what the sources describe as ugly as sin hoodies on Instagram.
Yeah.
Jordan is hosting these discount group therapy sessions around fire pits, acting like the guru of dad talk.
Yeah.
It feels like a hostile corporate takeover. It's like watching a Prison Break movie, but right in the middle of the escape, the escapees stop to ask the guards how they feel about the broken locks.
That is a painfully accurate analogy. It really is a hostile takeover where the new management is actively undermining the founders.
Get to that.
And we see this acutely with Zach Affleck. He is a man who spent earlier seasons mocking his wife Jen's TikTok career.
What?
But now, according to the sources, he drops out of medical school, follows Jen to LA, and lives entirely on her income.
Wow.
Yet he continually belittles her, creates conflicts, and somehow the narrative always ends with his wife apologizing.
The Marie Claire essay actually notes, he literally interrupted a butterfly ceremony celebrating a newborn just to brag to the other husbands about negotiating a free trip to Europe.
Which is just so incredibly telling. The sociological implications here are profound.
Also.
What we are witnessing is the patriarchal system reasserting itself after a period of rebellion.
Right.
The show was initially about women transcending a religious and cultural framework designed to keep them small. But by giving equal screen time and narrative weight to the men's fragile egos, the story fundamentally changes.
It stops being a story about female empowerment or financial independence.
Exactly. It becomes a story about male discomfort.
Oh, wow.
The women's autonomy is forced back into the context of how it affects their husbands. The system is regaining control of the status quo,
Yeah.
turning male wounded pride into a storyline that the women are forced to cater to. It is a stark reminder of how deeply ingrained these gender dynamics are, even when the women hold the purse strings.
Because the culture at large still sympathizes with the displaced men.
Precisely. The hostile takeover works because the audience is conditioned to validate male feelings.
Eventually, though, this entire ecosystem, the manufactured TikTok open loops, the hostile takeovers by their husbands, the constant algorithm chasing it, hits a brick wall.
It does.
The line between performative reality TV drama and actual danger completely collapses, and the machine breaks.
Yeah, the infrastructure of the show itself began to fracture because it pushed too far into reality.
So production for Season 5 of Solo MW is officially paused. And the reason for this pause is not a squabble over a group chat or an upside-down smiley face.
No, this is much more serious.
It is. And it's important to note here, looking at the police reports from Draper City, and we are just looking strictly at what is in the official filings here, maintaining complete neutrality and not taking sides. The situation escalated into a serious domestic violence investigation involving Taylor Frankie Paul and Dakota Mortensen.
Right, we have to be very clear that we're just reporting what the sources state. The Draper City Police Department confirmed an open investigation into cross-allegations of assault between Taylor and Dakota.
Right.
And this was sparked in part by leaked 2023 body cam footage showing a physical altercation.
Yeah.
The cast themselves reportedly refused to film, stating they needed to take a beat for their mental health because the situation had become too volatile and dangerous.
And the professional fallout from crossing that line was immediate.
It was.
As a direct consequence of this investigation and the leaked footage, ABC completely shelved Taylor's upcoming season of The Bachelorette. They pulled the plug right before the premiere.
Which is a devastating blow to the brand extension potential of the MomTok franchise. It signals that mainstream corporate entities are backing away.
And it does not stop there.
No, it doesn't.
Simultaneously, you have Demi Engman, another MomTok star, entangled in a very real defamation lawsuit.
Right.
She is being sued by Marciano Burnett, who is a star from Vanderpump Villa. And Marciano is the exact same man that Jessi Draper previously admitted to having an emotional affair with. The legal and personal entanglements have moved from TikTok comments into actual courtrooms.
This raises an important question about the structural limits of the reality television model.
What do you mean?
Well, major networks and streaming platforms love messy drama.
Sure.
They love the truth boxes, the cheating rumors, the passive-aggressive social media posts. That is highly monetizable, easily insurable content.
The lifeblood of the genre.
Exactly. But what they absolutely cannot tolerate is actual legal and physical volatility.
Oh, right, because of the risk.
Yes. That is viewed as a massive corporate liability. The influencer model relies on constantly escalating the drama to maintain engagement.
Right, you always have to top the last crazy thing you did.
Exactly. You have to keep feeding the algorithm something more shocking than the last thing you posted. But in March 2026, the MomTok Collective finally crossed a boundary into domestic violence investigations and cross-network defamation lawsuits. And that is a boundary that the reality TV infrastructure simply cannot support. The machine broke down because the human lives fueling it became too unstable to ensure.
It's just wild to think about. I mean, if you have ever felt the pressure to post about a personal breakup or a bad day or a conflict at work just to control the narrative among your own friends, you were experiencing a micro version of what these women are doing on a massive corporate scale.
That's a great point.
MomTok is an extreme example, but it reflects a tension we are all navigating. So what does this all mean for you?
I think it shows us in real time how the commodification of our personal lives, this modern instinct to trade our privacy, our conflicts, and our relationships for digital engagement, can eventually erode our real-world boundaries. When your friendships, your marriage, and your personal crises are all content to be monetized, you risk losing the safety and authenticity of your actual life. The digital panopticon doesn't just watch you, it consumes you.
You feed it your life, and eventually there is nothing left.
And if we look at the trajectory of this scandal, it started back in 2022 with soft swinging.
Right.
And while controversial, soft swinging was essentially a controlled, negotiated form of breaking the rules.
Yeah, they had boundaries.
They created boundaries within their transgression. But by March 2026, that controlled rebellion had devolved into uncontrolled, catastrophic chaos.
Wow.
It really begs the question, can any highly publicized subculture survive its own success without inevitably self-destructing?
That is a phenomenal question. You start out trying to bend the rules, and you end up breaking the entire system.
Exactly.
But we want to hear from you. In a world where every personal crisis can be monetized, do you think true privacy is even possible anymore?
Yeah, I'd love to hear people's thoughts on this.
Or are we all just living in our own versions of the digital panopticon? Let us know. Drop your thoughts in the comments below the video.
We read all of them.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a wild ride unpacking the mechanics behind the MomTok phenomenon, and we can't wait to dig into our next topic with you. Stay curious, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.